Some people don't stand out just because they're famous. They stand out because of the energy they bring when they walk into a room. Jennifer Hudson was exactly that kind of person. Whenever she entered a space, her presence was impossible to ignore. Come strong, warm, and powerful all at once. So when she and Common started spending time together, it didn't feel like the usual celebrity couple situation. It wasn't fake smiles for cameras. It wasn't pictures staged. For social media, it wasn't two stars trying to look perfect. Instead, it felt real, comfortable, natural. Like two people who already knew who they were and didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Fans quickly noticed something was different. They had seen many celebrity couples before relationships that looked shiny on the outside but were full of acting. Jennifer and Common weren't like that at all. Their closeness didn't feel like a performance. It felt like a partnership, full of respect and balance. One night in Chicago showed this more clearly than anything else. It wasn't a Hollywood event, not a red carpet, not a magazine photo shoot. It was Soldier Field, where the Chicago Bears were playing their longtime rivals, the Green Bay Packers. That night was loud, exciting, and full of energy. Yet in the middle of the noise, cameras captured Jennifer Hudson and Common sitting together. They weren't holding hands for attention. They weren't posing. They weren't trying to show off. They were simply together, quietly, comfortably, with a closeness that spoke louder than any public announcement. People watching could sense it instantly. This wasn't new couple energy. This wasn't casual dating. This was deeper. As the game heated up and the crowd grew louder, Jennifer and Common stayed calm yet connected, sharing small looks and soft smiles. They didn't need big gestures. A subtle closeness was enough to show they were in sync. And when the Bears made an unbelievable overtime comeback, the stadium exploded in cheers. Jennifer's excitement took over. She ran down to the field, laughing and celebrating like a true fan. Common followed behind her, but his vibe was totally different. He wasn't just celebrating, he was watching, paying attention, protecting. He looked around to make sure she was safe in the crowd. He checked the space, the people, the energy. He guided her gently, without stopping her joy. That is not how someone acts when they are casually dating. That is how someone acts when they feel deeply connected, responsible, and committed. People who knew Common's dating history noticed immediately. He had dated women like Serena Williams and Erica Dixon, and those relationships had always felt uncertain, as if he was still figuring things out. But with Jennifer, he seemed sure. In earlier interviews, Common had even said openly, "If I get married, it's going to be to Jennifer Hudson." He didn't say maybe. He didn't say. One day, he said it firmly. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a joke. This was a decision. And then came another sign. Common and Jennifer attended the private wedding of their close friend, she as his partner, he as a groomsman. There were no paparazzi, no press, no interviews, just two people acting like they belonged together. Couples who are only dating don't usually move like that. Couples who are serious do. Both Jennifer and Common had lived through painful public moments in the past. Jennifer's engagement had ended in a heartbreaking, very public way. Common preferred privacy and avoided drama. So it made sense that their relationship stayed quiet and calm. And when people paid attention to Common's behavior around her, the way he spoke with authority, the way he guided her gently, the way he made space for her, became clear. This wasn't a performance. It was love, a real grown-up, steady kind of love. A love that didn't need the world's approval, whether they were secretly married or simply deeply committed. One thing was sure, their bond was impossible to ignore. Every love story starts long before two people meet. Jennifer Hudson and Common had lived full, complicated lives that shaped them into who they were when they eventually crossed paths. Jennifer's journey was filled with incredible highs and devastating lows. Her voice had taken her from small-town beginnings to global fame. She became known for her power, talent, and emotion. But behind the applause, she faced unimaginable loss and heartbreak that most people could never survive. Those experiences made her cautious. She learned to protect her heart. She learned that not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions. She learned that privacy is a shield, but she also stayed hopeful. She still believed in love, just carefully. Common's journey was different, but carried its own lessons. He had been famous for years, dated publicly, and learned how hard it could be to keep genuine love alive while the world watched. His past relationships taught him what he wanted and what he would never settle for again. So when Jennifer and Common finally met, was something instant, something familiar yet brand new. It wasn't just attraction, it was recognition. To people who had lived, learned, hurt, healed, and grown meeting at the right time. They both valued privacy. They both disliked drama. They both knew fame could destroy relationships. Their understanding of each other made their chemistry natural and strong. At public events, they moved in harmony, quiet, calm, steady. Their closeness didn't feel like a performance, but like a habit. They didn't reach for attention. They didn't act differently for cameras. They acted exactly the same whether anyone was looking or not. Jennifer brought emotional depth, strength, and independence. Common brought calmness, confidence, and protection. Together, they've balanced each other beautifully. Moments like the Soldier Field game weren't accidents. They were glimpses into how they treated each other behind the scenes. When Common guided her through crowds or checked their surroundings, it showed an instinct rooted in care and love. People compared his behavior to his past relationships and saw the difference instantly. This wasn't trial and error. This was commitment. Their silence didn't mean uncertainty. It meant security. Love didn't need to be shouted when both people understood it deeply. And then there was Common's repeated mention of marriage. Whenever he talked about it, he said the same thing. If I get married, it's going to be to Jennifer Hudson. Was not a casual sentence. That was a promise. Every small gesture, every public moment, every protective movement was a piece of a bigger picture that showed a mature, grounded, serious love. They weren't rushing to announce anything. They weren't performing for the world. They were simply living their truth, quietly. And anyone who paid attention could see that truth clearly. Sometimes, the world understands a relationship not because of what is said, but because of what is shown. The Soldier Field game became one. Of those moments, the stadium was packed with loud, excited fans. The air vibrated with tension and pride as the Chicago Bears faced the Green Bay Packers. In the middle of all that energy, Jennifer Hudson and Common sat together, calm, grounded, and united. Even in that huge crowd, they looked connected. Their quiet closeness stood out more than any celebrity-style public display. When the Bears won in overtime, the chaos became electric. Jennifer ran down to the field, her excitement contagious. She was laughing, cheering, and enjoying every second like a true Chicago native. Common stayed close behind her but didn't steal the moment. Instead, he took on a different role. He watched the crowd. He checked the space. He made sure she was safe. He didn't need attention. He didn't need to show off. His focus was on her. That is how someone behaves when their life is intertwined with someone else's. And this wasn't the only moment like that. People noticed similar behavior at weddings, events, interviews, and random public appearances. Small touches, guiding hands, warm glances, each gesture was subtle, but meaningful. Together, they moved like a team. Fans started connecting the dots. Common's talk about marriage, their private but united appearances, their comfort with each other, their protective energy, their calm confidence. Rumors grew. Whispers spread. People wondered if they had already married in secret. And honestly, it didn't seem impossible. Chicago played a special role in their story. It was their home, their comfort zone, a place where they could move like normal people instead of celebrities. That night at Soldier Field showed how they acted when they were just themselves, away from Hollywood pressures, no cameras needed, No headlines needed, no stage pictures, just real love. Unforced, unperformed, unshakable. As time passed, it became clear to anyone watching, Jennifer Hudson and Common weren't just dating. They were something much deeper, something serious, intentional, and strong. Their bond wasn't loud, it was steady. It was mature, was rooted in trust, respect, and shared understanding. A love like that doesn't shout, simply exists. And everyone who sees it feels its power. This is why the world watched that night in Chicago and realized this wasn't a new romance. It was a beautiful, quiet, undeniable love story.